Hi guys! So when I was 13 years old, I started learning French on my own and I looked for information and sources all over the internet, and today I'm gonna share with you my favorites for your language learning journey. So let's get started. This video will be divided in 3 parts: pre-study, organization, and my favorite language learning ideas.
Pre-study.
Let's start with the notebook. Make sure that you have a notebook where you will be able to put all of your language learning notes. I really recommend you to use a second little notebook for your vocabulary, new words that you will be finding in this learning process. But if you don't have another notebook, you can divide your notbook in 2 and use the last part of the notebook for your vocabulary words. Like this, that will be easier to find. Now, define your goals. You gotta clearly establish why you want to learn the language and what do you want to achieve. Is it for travel, work, studies, personal interest? Personally, when I was 13, I chose French just because I like the series in French and I wanted to watch the series in French. So it doesn't have to be like a really serious reason to start learning, but I really recommend you that it's a reason that really excites you and makes you feel like learning. Start watching content in your target language even before studying something. But what? I will not understand anything, Paula. What are you talking about? Yes, I know. Just let me explain you. Pronunciation is extremely important to have an effective communication. Doing this will help your brain to start internalizing the way they pronounce certain vocals, common vocabulary, and even the kind of sounds they make. And this will help you so much in your future pronunciation. Just give it a try. It worked so good for me. I think so. I want to think so. Next part is basic information. Again, basic information. Research the language. With this, I mean the basic grammar, pronouns, verbs. Search the 100 most common words in the language. These words will be so useful for your improvement. 5 and the last, build basic knowledge. So for me, Duolingo has worked so well when I start learning a language. You will learn a whole language with Duolingo, but it is so good for learning the basics. Wait a minute, there is a Dragon Ball character that's called Gohan, right? Is that rice in Japanese? I'm so confused. And my other favorite, digital flashcards. I love them. This is not sponsored, but I use this app for doing my digital flashcards. It just shows you one side of the card where there is like the word in your native language, for example, and then you click the card and it will turn and you will see the word on your target language. You can click the happy face if you knew the word, or the sad face if you didn't. And the app will not stop asking you the same flashcard every 4 flashcards until you get it right. So you can be sure you will learn those words. Now you have an idea of the language you want to start learning. So let's start with the organization. Set the time you will be able to dedicate to your language. So you gotta be realistic with this, whether it is 30 minutes or 1 hour. You gotta be really realistic with this and choose your days to study. Maybe you will study 1 hour every day. Maybe you will study 1 hour Monday to Friday. Maybe you will study 2 hours Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It will depend a lot on your schedule. So try to be honest with yourself and organize that well, because that will be key for your discipline. Now we know there are some basic sections of language learning like listening, speaking, reading, writing, vocabulary, and grammar. For vocabulary, it will be very important you start learning these specific topics: reading and basic phrases, personal introductions, numbers and dates, everyday vocabulary, pronunciation and phonetics, basic grammar structure. With this I mean learn to conjugate verbs in the simple present tense, as it is the most commonly used tense. It's very important. Expressions of need and desire. Emergency phrases like I'm lost, I don't speak English, I don't speak Spanish, I just speak Japanese. Now let's go to my favorite part of the video, my favorite language learning ideas. So for vocabulary, I really recommend you to watch daily routines on your target language with subtitles. This will help you to have so much daily vocabulary. I also recommend you searching on the internet little children's stories. These stories used to have a very basic vocabulary. So if you don't understand a word, write it down and then search the translation, and like this you will be having a lot of new vocabulary. Grammar, I will recommend you to spend your first sessions on pronouns, verbs, conjugation of each pronoun, like I eat, we eat, they sleep. And then when you're a little bit more advanced, start studying tenses and their conjugations. I ate, I saw, I knew. When I was learning French, I loved to end my sessions writing 10 sentences with the new vocabulary that I got that day. So I really recommend you to do this too. Like this, you will also practice your conjugation. So give it a try. And then check them out with a reliable translator. My favorite one is Reverso. And this is not sponsored, again. Let's go with writing. Such an inspiring section. If you're like me and love journaling, I really recommend you to journal in your target language. It will challenge you every day to find the correct words to express yourself and search them if you don't know them. Believe me, you will learn so much with this. Now, if you have a friend that is learning the same language as you, make her or him your language learning partner and text only in your target language. Now, listening. Watch kids' TV shows. They have a simple vocabulary and they used to be easy to understand. At the end, they are made for people that are learning a new language. That means kids learning their own native language. And finally, speaking was the part that I struggled the most when I was learning French, because it was really difficult to find someone who was learning French too here in Mexico, or a native speaker. So I really recommend you to search the phonetic basics. Like this, you can consider them in your speaking, and also search the most common pronunciation mistakes in beginners. There are so many YouTube videos about these topics, and that will be really helpful because you are probably making these mistakes. So consider that. But if you have the opportunity to practice with a native speaker, do it. If it is safe, do it. Okay guys, so I really enjoyed recording this video. I really hope these tips help you in your language learning journey. If you found these tips useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Adios!